And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas. Thanks for joining me today for a quick chat and, of course, our morning cup of coffee. And so for today, I thought since this past Saturday was the last of the 3 Saturdays of the Souls, we talk a little bit about memorial prayers for today, and specifically some of the more frequently asked questions that I get regarding prayers for the departed, praying for our loved ones who have passed on. And so first and foremost, people will say, well, Father, why are we doing this? Why are we praying for our loved ones that have passed on if we know that they're in heaven? They're in heaven already with Christ, so what are we praying for them for? They're already saved. Well, so the reality is we don't talk about really what happens to someone when they pass away, and we don't have sort of an official, detailed doctrine regarding that because, well, we don't really know. And also, we don't really need to know for our salvation, right? What we need to know for our salvation is watch and pray, right? Live a Christian life as best as you can. But we don't really know what happens to people exactly because, well, we're not God. We don't know what's in their hearts. We don't know how God's going to judge them. So we don't really know where they are or what's going on. We hope that they're with Christ in heaven. And by the way, that's kind of a prayer already, isn't it? But the kingdom of heaven isn't here yet, right? The kingdom of heaven will be ushered in when Christ comes back, and we have the general resurrection. So right now, well, where are they? Well, we don't really know. They're in a state of existence that we don't really understand, and it's their soul that is in that state of existence, right? When we pass away or we pass on, the soul is separated from the body goes back. The physical part of us goes back to the earth. But that spiritual part, the soul, that intangible sort of consciousness that we have, that's awaiting judgment. That's awaiting the resurrection. We don't really know where they are or what's happening. And so because of that, we pray for them. I mean, we want to tell ourselves that they're in a good place, that they're with Christ, that they're with the saints. But again, that's a prayer, right? It's already a form of prayer. We might be telling ourselves that to comfort ourselves when we're grieving, but that's the reality. We're already praying for them just by thinking that, because they don't magically become angels or saints that watch over us, right? We don't magically become something in death that we were not already in life, right? The person doesn't magically change who they are into something or someone else. The soul is still the soul. That person is still that person. So when we say, well, we know for sure that they're saved, that's a very bold statement to make. Unless you happen to be around them and watch them perform miracles and you know that they were a saint, guess what? You don't really know what's in their heart, and you don't really know how God is going to judge them. So we pray for them because we ask God to have mercy on their soul. And it's a reminder also that they haven't just poof disappeared out of existence, that they're still part of the church. They're part of the church that we can no longer see, but that doesn't mean they don't exist anymore. So because of that, why wouldn't we pray for them? Why wouldn't we be able to pray for them and ask God to have mercy on their soul? And that's something that we really should be doing, because it reminds us not only of who they are and to keep their memory alive in our hearts, but it reminds us of the resurrection. It reminds us of the fact that there's something beyond this life. And that's exactly why we have the tradition of bringing the boiled wheat to the church, right? The boiled wheat is a reminder, that passage or that parable that Christ tells about, unless a grain of wheat die and go into the ground, right, you can't have new life. You can't have the whole stalk of the plant be born. So it's a reminder to us of this idea that, well, we die, but we have hope in the resurrection. In order to be resurrected, you have to die first. And so we have the koliva, as we call it, or the boiled wheat, as a reminder of that. And also a reminder that it comes from the idea that we used to try to feed the poor. We used to perform works of mercy in the names of those people that we loved that passed away, in the hopes that other people would also pray for them, and that they would receive more prayers and more blessings. And so those are some of the basic things that we do and why we do them. And that's why it's so very, very important not just to forget about people that have passed on, but to continue to pray for them and not think that just magically they're on some sort of golf course with Christ, just sort of having fun all day long, but we don't know where they are or what's going on. And guess what? They might need a little help. They might need a prayer wherever they are. And I can do that. I can pray for them, and it's okay. And that can also remind me about the brevity of life and about the hope that I need to have in the resurrection each and every day. Amen.